When CJ, an up-and-coming rapper, listened to his friends advising him to try out a different style of rap called New York drill, he didn't realize it would become the biggest moment of his career. CJ, who was 23 years old at the time, was just starting to chase his dream of becoming a famous rapper. But then something bad happened. His social media followers went down suddenly, and people thought he was pretending to be in a gang, and this thing ruined his entire career. What happened to him? Was he actually a gang member, or was he just a fake gangster? How did he vanish, and why did his career suffer? Watch the video till the end to find out. When CJ dropped his song Whoopty on July 30th, 2020, it instantly blew up. This was pretty surprising for a few reasons. Firstly, he barely had 40,000 subscribers on his channel, yet somehow he managed to rack up 7 million views on his video just a month later. Soon after, that number soared to nearly 80 million. So, how did this seemingly ordinary guy from Staten Island, New York, crack the code to go viral in today's music scene? Some wondered if CJ found the secret to success overnight, with rappers like Ice Spice, Chance the Rapper, and Baby Keem facing similar accusations. People began to wonder if CJ was next, but is it fair to think this? Maybe CJ just made a great track that clicked with people at the perfect moment. In interviews that surfaced shortly after the song's release, CJ revealed that Whoopty was just a random attempt at making drill music. This adds an intriguing twist to the story.
So, for the people that don't know, Whoopty was my first drill record I ever made in life. I never experimented with drill. I never made a drill record before that.
You might already know about drill music, a subgenre that was getting really popular in New York around the time. It's worth mentioning that Pop Smoke, who was like the face of drill music back then, had passed away just 5 months before Whoopty came out.
I was like, yo, let me see what I could do on a drill beat. You know what I'm saying? I was just playing around. Like, I'm not a drill rapper. I had no intentions of being a drill rapper. Today, I'm not a drill rapper. It just happened to be I blew up off of a quote-unquote drill-based song.
So here's the thing. People were craving something fresh, especially after Pop Smoke's tragic passing. It felt like there was this big gap in the drill music scene, just waiting to be filled. And that's where CJ stepped in. It was the perfect timing for him to make his mark and give fans something new to vibe to. It's really surprising that CJ's song Whoopty became so popular, especially since other rappers like Pop Smoke and King Von had already used similar beats. People wonder why CJ's version blew up. Was it just because it was catchier and easier to understand? Or was there something else going on that he didn't tell us? The song became a hit as soon as it came out, sparking a trend on TikTok where people danced to it. This helped it climb up the music charts fast. But there's something suspicious about it all. Cardi B gave it a big boost by playing it on her Instagram. Then, French Montana made CJ part of his group, Coke Boys, and even gave him a fancy chain. And guess what? Big names like Busta Rhymes were featured in his songs, and he was even seen hanging out with Mark Wahlberg. With all these big names backing him up, it's clear there's more to the story. When CJ said he wanted to be one of the greats, it didn't seem too far-fetched, even though he only had one solo single on Spotify at the time. But things took a turn for the worse when he did a Genius interview on November 27th, 2020, where he talked about the meaning behind the word Whoopty.
Whoopty. Bitch, I'm outside of some movie. Pretty much Whoopty, like, it's worldwide now. You know, I got babies, you know, saying Whoopty. I got, you know, middle-aged people, you know, older people. Pretty much it's just like a roll call, you know, whenever I see my guys in the street. And, you know, that's how we greet each other. It's like a New York when people say, yeah.
When CJ gave this interview, he probably didn't think much of it. But little did he know, it would cause a lot of trouble for him later on. To understand why, let's talk about what it means to be called a fake gangster in the rap world. Being labeled a fake gangster can really hurt a rapper's reputation. It seems like people are attracted to rappers who have a tough, gangster image. Just look at some of the biggest names in the industry. Many of them are linked to gangs in some way. For instance, let's take Gucci Mane. In 2006, he was involved in a serious incident where he took someone's life. Surprisingly, instead of damaging his career, it boosted his street credibility. Even rappers like Lil Bibby from Chicago admired him because of it.
Chicago people just loved Gucci, man. He like everybody's idol, man. He like a gangster, man. He get out there, First of all, he killed somebody for trying to rob him. And then he rapped about it, and he made all the type of diss song. Man, Chicago just like negative shit, man. We like people that's really gangster, man. You know what I'm saying?
However, this only holds true for rappers who truly live by their lyrics. For this reason, the music video for Whoopty stirred up a lot of unwanted drama for CJ. As you might have seen, the video features CJ wearing red bandanas and hanging around with members of a Bloods gang from New York. Artists like Slim Jesus and 6ix9ine have used similar marketing tactics to boost success, especially if they're not black. Many of their hits feature gang activity, adding shock value. 6ix9ine was involved in CJ's drama too, which we'll discuss later. But Whoopty also succeeded due to its great beat and catchy hook. Trouble arose when people looked into the meaning of Whoopty and found a dark history, contrary to CJ's claims in his Genius interview. Whoopty is a term used by New York Blood gang members to greet each other. CJ's use of it raised doubts about his gang affiliation. This word is tied to the Mac Bowler Bloodhound Brims, a dangerous gang in New York since 2005. They've been involved in serious crimes. For example, some members kidnapped a dad whose child worked as a prosecutor in North Carolina because they were unhappy about a sentence one of their own received. Another tragic incident involved a 14-year-old who got caught up in their activities and ended up being shot by the police. Joining them isn't easy. Some say you might have to commit murder. CJ's association with this group suggests he was taking risks for fame. In his songs, he mentioned specific gang members like Sleazes and Hats, indicating his connection to the Brim Gang Bloods. This situation shows the dangers of pretending to be part of a gang for fame. These details made people question CJ's authenticity. They wanted to know if he was really part of a gang or if he was just using their reputation to get attention. At first, CJ insisted he was a gang member and claimed he made up the word Whoopty. In addition to claiming that he and his friends came up with the word, CJ even went as far as trying to trademark it. But this move backfired and only added fuel to the fire. It grabbed the attention of the leader of the Bloodhound Brims, Lebin. Despite facing a 30-year sentence for narcotics trafficking and firearm offenses, Lebin took the time to make a phone call about CJ.
So first and foremost, CJ made a hot song, but the content that he used, that's not his content. He's not Whoopty. He don't know nothing about Whoopty. He just seen a fly splash and he jacked it. For the record, Whoopty is not CJ's. That shit belonged to the Jet. I ain't even gonna say it's just mine. It belonged to the Jet. It's not his at all.
This hurt CJ's street cred, and more gang members questioned his authenticity. With the industry and fans turning against him, CJ faced his first hip-hop beef after just one song. It wasn't a publicity stunt. Things got serious quickly, and to add to his troubles, he was accused of stealing other rappers' flows. Copying another rapper's bars or flow is a big deal in hip-hop, often leading to rap beefs. When Busy Banks and 22 G's accused CJ of copying their style, it became a major problem for him. Banks said, "That CJ dude needs to give me my credit, no cap." Busy Banks claimed CJ was jacking his lingo and flow on IG.
Definitely 2021. Yeah, you said that CJ nigga need to give me my credit. No cap, nigga jacking my lingo and flow. I'm tired of not getting the recognition I deserve. I started this new wave of drill. Yeah, like
I said, I don't be heavy on the recognition shit no more. Like,
yeah,
I'm over it. Like, I'm over that now. For me, like, but at that time, it was on some like niggas was calling me. You heard like when I say like my mom friends and shit calling like, yo, I heard your son on the radio. Like, I'm seeing.
People compared their styles side by side, showing similarities. This stirred more controversy for CJ, who faced allegations of not being original.
Certain things you do and certain things you don't do.
What I do?
Dre's goofy.
Who?
Dre. My cousin?
Dre?
Yeah, he's goofy for that.
Okay.
In hip-hop, 22 G's dropped a remix of Whoopty called Goofy, aimed at CJ, gaining 1 million views quickly.
Look, before we get off topic, bro, now, because I don't want you to
Nah, it ain't off topic, because it's on topic.
All right, so look, we gonna do
me
this
and
right
then say
way.
nothing.
We gonna do
me
this
and
right
then say
way.
nothing.
Fans discussed CJ's disappearance, with some thinking 22 GZ track was the end for him. But CJ hit back with Hit Up, targeting 22GZ's Gangster Disciples crew and flashing gang signs. The song got 3 million views. As CJ embraced his gang persona, fans worried for his safety. On April 7th, 2022, he appeared on DJ Vlad's show, confronting the beef. CJ vowed to fight back against 22GD's and Busy Banks's dissies, facing threats while trying to clear his name in live streams. In less than a year of skyrocketing fame, CJ found himself under fire from all sides. Accusations of being an industry plant, a fake gangster, and now a flow thief were raining down on him. But it was in 2021 that his empire came crashing down when he was exposed. In January 2021, CJ's world changed with a bombshell article from Pitchfork titled "New York Drill Rapper CJ Exposed." It revealed his rise to fame wasn't just luck. CJ's uncle, James Cruz, a big name in the music industry, had major connections with artists like 50 Cent and Nicki Minaj. With such backing, doors opened for CJ, giving him a head start. Surprisingly, CJ's been in the game since 2018, even collaborating with 6ix9ine on a track called Pop That. It wasn't just luck or talent. His uncle James managed him, recognizing his potential and pushing him to build a solid body of work. James served as a mentor for CJ, using his connections to pave the way for success. He remained involved, even coaching CJ during interviews. This raised suspicions, especially since CJ was already seen as an industry plant. The public's interest in him shifted as a result, but the drama didn't end there. When the song Whoopty faced the risk of being removed from streaming platforms due to an uncleared sample, Uncle James didn't hesitate to dip into his own daughter's college fund, tossing in a hefty $80,000 to keep the track alive.
Sample comes back, they wanted $80,000. Me paying $80,000 and making CJ's dreams come true.
It was a stark contrast to CJ's image of being a self-made rapper. He tried to sell himself as someone who made it big without any help, but the truth was far from it. Despite CJ's attempts to dispel rumors of being an industry plant and a fake gang member, doubts lingered. His EP Loyalty Over Royalty went unnoticed, and excuses for its disappearance fell flat. CJ's efforts to spin the narrative failed, with the truth emerging in interviews. Despite a viral track, his reputation remained tarnished. He's now back to making drill music, trying to recreate the success of Whoopty. Sometimes he even copies the song, leading to comical results. Despite his efforts, CJ struggles to regain his former acclaim. By February 2023, Warner had seen enough and cut ties with CJ for good. Fans were disappointed, feeling like they'd been duped by someone they thought was the real deal. CJ tried to save face, claiming he left on his own terms, but nobody was buying that either. It was clear that the label didn't see any value in him anymore, doubting his ability to produce another hit.